Okay, hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with that metalstation.com. And today I'm getting to have a chat with Marco from Crypt Crawler, whose latest album, Future Usurper, came out June 2nd. WA death metal at its finest, man. It's a fucking ripping album, man. I've been playing a little bit of it on my show lately and a few of the earlier singles, man. Congratulations on a killer death metal album, man.
Oh man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and thanks for checking it out and digging it. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
It must be good to kind of be able to unleash the album upon the world and then be able to play some shows with it as well.
Yeah, definitely. This album it's been sitting with us for a little while. It did go through some iterations and stuff like that. So I've been listening to a lot of these songs for a good portion of a year and a bit. So it's really good to finally have it all out in the world and have our album launch coming up soon, which is really exciting to finally get it out and into the world.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. That's at Lucy's Love Shack there.
Yeah.
But can you tell me a little bit about the whole process of making this album? Can you walk me through a little bit? Like, when did you first start making it, the pre-production and stuff like that?
Yep. So pretty much, if I remember correctly, it was before Blood Sustenance came out, and that was our previous EP. So pretty much To the Grave, we wrote all that stuff. We wrote Blood Sustenance around the same time as well, released To the Grave, and then we had Blood Sustenance pretty much written and waiting for release as well. And then we started Future Usurper, and the title track was the first track we started on. Wrote that song. Vocals came on pretty quickly after that. We weren't sure if the songs from Blood Sustenance were going to go onto the full length, but we decided to differentiate that stuff. That stuff had a bit of Swedish death metal influence on it, so we're like, let's keep that a bit separate. So Future Usurper was the first track that we had written, followed by a few of the other tracks. Trying to remember, Mouth of Death was one of the first ones that came as well. And we pretty much did it all in my room here. just me and my guitarist Jordan sitting here, just writing riffs, seeing what comes to mind, and yeah, just going from there, just keeping it all natural and free flowing, and then just showing it to the guys and seeing what they think, and then going from there.
Yeah, so you seem to be like really hit the ground running. You had that release back in 2019, Blood Sustenance 2020, and then cranking into this. So you must be a super creative bunch of guys, especially, musically as well, to kind of just have all this material, and dare say you would have been the same through everything else that's happened, still making more and more music.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think COVID did slow us down because we haven't got as many songs haven't got as many new songs like ready to go or anything like that. Like that has slowed down, which sucks, because that's my favorite part of this whole process, like writing and creating music. But yeah, like you said, yeah, To the Grave straight up. Then Blood Sustenance was written like during that whole time as well. Future Usurper started not too far after. So we just kept on writing, kept on wanting to. That's the part that was so easy for us to just get into this room together and start making music, where the creativity was flowing, just like bouncing ideas off each other. It's really good.
So who are some of your influences, man, that have kind of inspired you death metal wise? Because I love death metal. It's like fine wine. It gets better with age, but the death metal albums that have been coming out the last few years have just been stompers, man. Really bloody good, eh?
I completely agree with that as well. There's been some real great like resurgence of that old school style, that's my favorite as well. Death is my second favorite band of all time. Metallica being my favorite.
Yeah.
Death was that big influence for us. Obituary, Morbid Angel, and then you got some of the newer sort of bands as well, like Aborted. That's one of my favorite bands of all time as well. That's where we get a little bit of that extra brutality into the music. Even just like some of the bands that have come out recently, like Blood Incantation, that latest album from last year was so good. Like, last year, no, the year before. Man, this COVID
death metal scene is unreal, man. At the moment, I'm loving like the amount of death metal. You mentioned those, and you got Inhuman Condition. You'll mention Obituary. It's got Terry Butler and Dramey and Taylor from The Absence in there, which is another great album. They had Benedictions last year, and even like you'll mention the bands that kind of under. They had that Cannibal Corpse album drop, and that Endseeker one, Mount Carcass, dropped on the same.
Endseeker was sick.
Oh, wasn't it, dude? It didn't kind of get that hype around it because Cannibal dropped the same day, but I
Oh no.
I dug the hell out of that In Seeker album. I thought it was groovy
Yeah, it's a
as.
great album.
Yeah.
So much fun. Have you heard the new Frozen Soul album?
Yeah, man, there's some fucking it's
Real good
really
shit.
it's unreal, and it's making me like it's really good, man. I just love the state of the metal scene at the moment, and all these bands coming through. Like you mentioned, there's these classic bands that are really good and you got to get into, but there's all these other new line of death metal bands coming
Definitely.
through, and bands like yourself are holding it down here in Australia with that death metal sound as well. And WA on its own has some amazing
Oh
death metal
man,
bands like
some
you
great
guys,
bands in WA.
Depravity.
Depravity, yep. Ashen as well, about
Yep.
to release their EP, which is going to be sick. But yeah, like so many great bands in the world doing some really great death metal at the moment. So really, really exciting stuff.
It is really exciting stuff. Can you tell me about the recording and production for this? Where'd you do, and tell me all about that.
Again, all in right in this room here.
Yeah, cool. That must make it easier.
Also, it does. There's less pressure. Like even just doing vocals in this room, like I'm doing them by myself in here, and just like there's no pressure to be like, oh, I have to nail this take right now. I can just like focus on like getting creative patterns going with vocals and things like that. Guitars, like Jordan can sit here and write a solo. He can do a solo 30 times and I won't get sick of it, just because I'll be like, dude, it's fine. Like just do it again. You made a mistake. What did you do?
Yeah.
Like there's no pressure at all in this room. We're just writing. And the mixing does take a long time. The mixing and master, because I'm not a trained engineer or anything like that. I've just learned it on the go from YouTube videos and things like that. It takes its time to try and get that sound that we want, to try and get the guitar sounding the way we want it, the drums, etc. But once it comes together, I'm just like, yeah, cool. Like this isn't the most incredible sounding death metal album of all time, but it's there. It's releasable, and it's to the point where I'm happy with it. It's got a unique sort of sound to it, so let's release it.
And it's getting some really good feedback. I know everyone focuses on those fucking shitty Spotify listens, but for me, I like going over and checking out things like Bandcamp and seeing how well they're selling, if the shirts are selling out. And I notice you've only got 3 remaining there for the physical CD and t-shirt bundle, so if you're watching this, I'd be bloody quick, because you might have already missed out.
I'm a bit worried as for our upcoming show. I'm like, oh, all this merch is disappearing. How much are we going to have to be able to sell at the show?
Yeah, it must be a good thing though.
It's good.
It must be a good thing for you guys as a band to go, okay, and we're selling merch still, even though we haven't had like that show yet, that launch yet, and going, oh, we might have to order more merch and that. And it's always a good sign because it pays for your time and everything as well.
Exactly. Yeah. The amount of pre-orders that we had, I'm not saying we're like the biggest band to have all these pre-orders or anything like that, but just the amount that we had, especially from our first album and from the EP, like just seeing that step up was so exciting, and like put the biggest smile on all of our faces, just to be like, wow, like people actually care this much about our music, which was really heartwarming. And like seeing all the packages go out the other day, I was so excited.
Yeah, it would have been a good feel on release day as well. It's like, oh, yeah, cool. We've got all this going. We've got some buzz, and that kind of thing I try and highlight as well with people to get along and support bands, because, it's easier for me being in the media. I can say that. But, you know, when you do that, it kind of puts a fire in your belly as an artist going, okay, what are we going to do next? We got to do something next after this.
Yeah.
And go into the next album or whatever you're working on next a little more enthused, going, okay, we've got the support from the fans, and that's kind of what people need to keep the scene going strong, especially with the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, the bullshit that the artists have had to put up, and without any support from the government.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like obviously the live shows have been a bit on the lower end of the numbers that we've expected before in the past. Like, not as many shows to be able to play. But the good thing is, this is one of the slight positives of COVID. When there is a show, because there'd been no shows for quite a while. Like when there is a show, that show should like hopefully go off, because those people actually like they've had no live music for such a while that see a good show come along, everyone rocks up to that show, and it's a really good feeling to have like a packed crowd in the room.
Yeah, and support the scene as it goes forward, the live industry and the artists as well. I think it's good that we got no internationals till around September. It gives everyone time to get along to these shows and support the bands, buy heaps of merch, pack out those venues like you're saying, and just really fucking get behind the local industry going forward with this. And then we worry about internationals coming over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly it. Like, as much as we like, who isn't stoked for more international bands to come back, but the local scene needs to thrive as well, which is what's happening, which is sick.
Yeah, and you know how good the band and the qualities of the talent we have here in Australia. We just have so many great metal bands that people sometimes don't go and check out because they're like, oh, the big internationals coming over, and they miss seeing the show with the top top Aussie metal band there. And some of those shows can be the fucking best the best shows I've been to.
Oh, agreed. Like we had Flaming Wreckage from Sydney just come to Perth the other week, and it was like one of the first metal bands coming over to Perth for a show that like in a long time. And like I rocked up to that show like just being like, oh cool, a national band's like touring over here, and it was such a sick show, so tight, so good to actually have like music in a sense on a national scale back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm going to see Flaming Wreckage in Adelaide on Friday, man.
Yeah, sick. Cool.
Yeah, they're doing
good
they're
things.
doing 3 shows, so I'm hoping to get the Adelaide one, then get down to Port Pirie, and then get over to Port Augusta, I think it is. So it'll be like 3 shows, 3 nights. But it's been a while since I've been to some live music, so I'm fucking keen as hell, man.
Hanging out, yeah.
Get along to that.
Yeah, sick.
Who done the album art for this one?
This one was Joanjo Castellano. He also did a few other sick bands. Revel in Flesh, which is actually where we got the Crypt Crawler name from. They're a German band. He did the Black Dahlia Murders' latest album, Verminous. Yeah, he's done some sick bands. And he's one of those really good. He's really good at capturing that old school death metal vibe, and that's exactly what we wanted. And when we got the artwork back from him, we were blown away.
Yeah, man. And then the live show, the album launch show is at Lucy's Love Shack, as I was saying, June 19th. You got the Furor, War Cycle, and Drift. I love Drift
sick.
Too, man. Drift are cool as bloody
band,
hell, man.
Yeah, so good. Even seeing them live as well. I saw them live. That's when I asked them, like in January, I saw them live, and I was like, oh, I've definitely got to ask this band to play our launch show. So good.
Yeah, they're really good.
And they've got good mates in that band as well with me. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah, the slamming ones, man. That's what I try and get along and buy, pre-order stuff like, and get albums, because you get some really cool shit. I got the shirt and everything for the guys. I try and support, and pre-order albums as well, even though I get stuff sent for me for promo. I buy heaps of merch, and especially when I go to shows, that's what I'm looking forward to, like hitting the merch stands as well and raiding them fuckers.
Yeah, killer. That's really good. Awesome stuff.
Have you got a favorite track off the album, like today, or does it change every day or every week? Like I speak to everyone, it's like a favorite child. It's like today, this one's my favorite. Tomorrow, it's probably going to be this one.
It is a bit like that. Overall, I love the album, I love the song, The Mouth of Death. It encapsulates a lot of what I love altogether in as a whole from this album. But as of today, I have to say, probably my favorite track is the Avaricious Ones. It's one of the songs towards the back end of the album, but it's got something about it that I really, really love. Like there's this bit where the guitars drop out, or sorry, the full section of guitars drop out, and it's just like this solo guitar section with the bass going, and it sounds so sick, in my opinion. Yeah, man. Hopefully everyone else agrees.
Yeah, it really is. It's a good album. If people haven't heard this and they love their death metal, they got to go over and grab that Future Usurper. Crank it really fucking loud for the neighbors. They're going to love it, man.
Thanks heaps, man. Really appreciate that.
Nah, dude. And I'm going to ask, like, we were just saying Flaming Wreckage come over there. Have you guys got plans to kind of get over around to a couple of the other states in Australia, kind of when you can? I know Victoria, you're fucking off the cards at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Victoria. I've spoken to some bands there, and they're like all ready to do their album launch, man. And then it closed down again. And it's like,
that's the thing. Like we really want to get over east. We've had a few messages as well, which has been really cool. We've been like, all right, cool, maybe we can try and tee something up or something like that. But I think we might have to wait just till a little bit longer, just to make sure that we don't book flights and then all of a sudden the show's cancelled because an outbreak's happened somewhere, or we get stuck over East or something like that. Like we've got full-time jobs and things like that, so to try to work out when we can actually do it without the safest period to be able to do it in, which is very hard in this sort of climate. But maybe hopefully beginning of next year, that'd be amazing to get over.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking 2022 is kind of going to start rolling again really well. And I know we've got some internationals booked in, but I'm thinking 2022 as well, when everything's going to be really, really going again. And like Metal United Down Under was booked in for Melbourne. They cancelled that, and then bands like Dr. Colossus. And it's sad because some of these guys have been sitting on albums for so long as well, waiting for the time to release it. And then they're like, okay, and it's open, let's release it, we can tour it, and then it just shuts on them again. My heart fucking breaks for the music industry over there.
Oh, it sucks. The only thing I can think of like right now, which is a way of making the most of this situation, is just trying to really really take advantage of the internet right now. And seeing what can be done to promote your band online, because the live climate is a bit of a strange one at the moment. And
it gives people, I suppose, if they can't go to shows, go over and buy albums from these bands as well. If they can't tour, like go buy an album off them, buy some merch, get behind these bands, just because you can't go see these guys touring live or wherever it is you're getting into. That's even more so. And that's the good thing about metalheads, I find. I have noticed that a lot, even in the underground scene. Some bands I'm looking at, and they're just selling all their vinyl and people are really getting behind it. It does give people more time in this atmosphere to go check out new albums and just just take it all in.
Definitely. Like even like you said, like the money that I've probably saved from not going to shows over the past year, I've maybe put into like buying vinyls now. I've got like a vinyl obsession where I'm seeing this vinyl go up here. I'm like, oh, I got to grab that. Oh, I shouldn't do any more, but I go grab another one.
I've done the same thing in 2020. I went and got a little record player and just started buying vinyl as well. I'm like, fuck it, I can't do much else. That's it. Let's buy some vinyl.
Exactly, man. It's the same for me at the moment as well.
It's
an obsession. It's hard to kick.
We're a weird breed. We're going to have these possessions and these things to pile up for our children to fucking sell off.
Exactly. Like, where else do I put all these vinyls? But, I'm finding space somewhere.
And they look cool as hell, man, as we start getting out the artwork and everything.
Holding the artwork and seeing all the details on the artwork, opening it up and seeing all the notes from all the guys in the band, all the lyrics and everything. Like, I know you can see that with CDs, but, on a smaller scale, in comparison to that sick vinyl art in front of you.
Yeah, and like I got, I think I got a limited edition one. My brother-in-law bought me the Behemoth one, the latest album, and that looked fucking sweet.
Yeah,
even
nice.
And then the big readout book and all the little bits you're not going to get into a CD player. And that's the thing. Listening to whole albums, I'm finding like these streaming cycles are fucking killing that, because I love like putting on a good album like this. Future Usurper was a great death metal album just to play from the opening track till the end, and you go on a journey with the artist as well. For me, there's nothing more enjoyable than putting on a whole album, and that's one thing you do with vinyl. You listen to the whole thing, flick it over, listen to the other side, and you're fully engaged to the music.
Completely agreed. Like even when it comes to Spotify and things like that, I'm still listening to an album completely in full from start to finish, because that's what the artist intended. And that's exactly how I've tried to do future. Like when I was trying to do the track listing for this album, I said to the guys, look, how about we list the tracks like this? I've done it in the sense where it's like, okay, cool. So these first 5 tracks would play in this order, and then you flip the vinyl over, and then you hear. Even though this is before we even got in contact with Rob from Bitter Loss to do vinyls, it was just like I had this intention of it has to be this journey throughout the album where it would go exactly like someone would be listening to this on vinyl or in full on a streaming site. So just hopefully that comes across.
Yeah, that's it. It does. And artists do. I noticed that too when I listen to albums, where artists have put thought into their track listings. And I've talked to other bands and they're like, oh, they're just making music kind of for the streaming cycles. And it does kind of makes me sad a little bit. And I have brought it up in the last few interviews because it keeps coming around. The sound quality with Spotify. Yeah, it's great to listen to an album on Spotify, but when you go get the vinyl, you buy an album and you put that sucker in your stereo, you can't fuck with that sound quality.
You see that little crackle? So good.
It is, and the sound quality is so much better than what they kind of give you on Spotify as well.
Agreed. Yeah. 100%.
Cool. Okay, awesome, Marco. I'm going to sign out. Let you get about the rest of your day, bro. This has
Yeah.
been an absolute pleasure talking music with you, man. Do you
Yeah,
have
sick,
any?
man. It's been awesome with you as well.
Yeah, man. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else I've missed you want to add in there, bro?
I just want to, just say thank you to anyone who's checking out this interview, or thank you to you as well, Jai, for having this. But thank you to all our fans, anyone who's checking out this interview. Hope you enjoy the new album, Future Usurper, and let us know what you think.
That's it.
Keen for you to hear it and get around it.
Get it, put it in the stereo, turn it up loud so the neighbors are going to want to hear this as well. Cheers, Marco. You have an awesome day,
See you,
bro.
man.
Hey, legends, how the bloody hell are you going? If you like that interview and you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. Keeps me doing what I'm doing and make you a bloody legend. Ripper. Too right, mate. The